The stations of the cross. The first station. Jesus is condemned to die. Jesus stands strong in his silence, and he's condemned to die for a crime he did not commit. He has been betrayed by a friend, falsely accused and judged wrongly. And yet, he accepts his punishment without a word of protest. Think about this. When have you been misjudged or wrongly accused? When have you misjudged or wrongly accused others? The second station. Jesus is forced to carry his cross. Jesus begins his terrible journey up the hill to Calvary. The weight of the cross bites into his shoulders, and he's reminded with each step that the pain he bears will be the cause of our joy. Despite his pain, his mind is filled with thoughts of us. Think about this. What kind of burdens do you carry? What kind of pressures do you feel at home or at school? The third station. Jesus falls for the first time. Jesus stumbles along the hot, dusty, rocky road. He's crushed under the weight of the wood and is bruised and beaten down by the soldiers. He falls, for even though he is fully God, he is filled with the weakness of being fully human. It is a wonder of our God become flesh in Jesus. Think about this. When have you felt like you have failed? Failed your friends? Failed your parents? Failed your brothers or sisters? The fourth station. Jesus meets his mother. Jesus, tired, sore, bruised, bloody, and on his way to his own execution, looks up to see the face of his mother along the road. What a moment for both of them. No words are exchanged, but Jesus can see the sadness and the pain on her face. He knows that she was chosen for this road, chosen to bear him into this world, but he still knows her pain. Think about this. When have you seen the look of sadness in your parents' faces? The fifth station. Simon carries Jesus' cross. Just when Jesus begins to think that he can go no farther, just when the soldiers begin to doubt that Jesus can make the long journey up the hill, they grab a man from the side of the road and force him to carry the cross. Simon feels the bite of the wood on his shoulder, and certainly he must have wondered why he, an innocent man, should be asked to do this. Think about this. When have you felt caught in the middle of something? How did you respond to the situation? The sixth station. Veronica wipes Jesus' face. Blood from the crown of thorns and sweat from hard work of carrying the cross mixed in Jesus' face. This is not an easy way to show love. The blood and sweat drip from him and sting his eyes. From out of the crowd steps a woman named Veronica, who lovingly wipes the face of Jesus. It is a very simple but an important act of love and compassion to the giver of all love and compassion. Think about this. Do you ever ignore someone who is in need? The seventh station. Jesus falls again. Jesus has been racked by pain, but he has been comforted by the care of Simon and Veronica. He continues on his journey, feeling the rhythm of the road beneath his feet. As he falls again, all the pain is renewed. A jolt of agony shoots through his body, but he rises again and continues on his way, and he is thinking about you. Think about this. When have you felt like giving up, but chose not to? How did God give your strength? The eighth station. The women of Jerusalem wept for Jesus. As Jesus walked along the road towards his death, some people laughed. Some stood in silence and wondered, who was he? Some cheered. But one group of women, seeing him hurting, tired, and beaten down, cried. This small act of faith and courage in the face of hardship supported Jesus in his grief, perhaps when he needed it the most. Think about this. What things that happen in the world make you sad, make you cry? What can you do about these things? The ninth station. Jesus falls a third time. Jesus can now see. In the distance, he knows the end is near. He's parched and he's dry. He's so weak from the loss of blood and the sheer pain that he can barely stand, much less carry the heavy cross. He falls again. Still, his executioners mercilessly urge him on. Think about this. Do you feel God's loving forgiveness even when you sin, even when you fall? The 10th station. Jesus is stripped of his garments. Jesus finally reaches the top of the hill, the place of his death. His reward for completing this part of his journey is to be savagely and brutally stripped. His open wounds cling to his garments, so the pain is excruciating as the soldiers rip his garments from his body, taking his flesh and blood along with the cloth. To be forced to stand naked before the crowds is humiliating for Jesus. Think about this. When have you felt humiliated or made to feel foolish? The 11th station. Jesus is nailed to the cross. With a thief to his left and right, and encircled by a crowd of onlookers, Jesus gently and willingly stretches out his hands and accepts the torture of the nails. In the midst of this most intense agony, his heart remains on his people. Father, forgive them, he prays, for they know not what they do. Think about this. The gift of life is precious. Do you sometimes take life and the good things of life for granted? The 12th station. Jesus dies on the cross. Jesus didn't immediately die when they nailed him to the cross. He suffered for 3 long, agonizing hours. The giver of life, who stood side by side with the Father at this moment of creation, was now dead. His mission on earth was nearly accomplished. He gave up his spirit, and he gave us his life. Think about this. What discussions in your everyday life do you make, big and small? Do you ever ask God to help you make it through these decisions? The 13th station. Jesus is taken down from the cross. When the crowds finally went away, a few of Jesus' followers were brave enough to ask for his body so that they could bury it. 2 men carefully removed the body from the cross and lay him in the arms of his awaiting mother. Tears run down Mary's cheeks as she holds the son given to her so many years before. Think about this. What are some actions that show your friends and others that you love Jesus? What actions can you do as a family to show that you care for Jesus? The 14th station. Jesus is laid in the tomb. Mary and the friends of Jesus prepare his body for burial and lay it in the tomb, cut from solid rock. They have forgotten, or perhaps they failed to believe the promise Jesus made to them. He will rise from the dead. And they roll the rock across the doorway, sealing the tomb. They feel that this special time with Jesus has come to an end. They know their lives will never be the same again. Think about this. Has there ever been a time that it was difficult to believe in Jesus' promise? The promise of everlasting life? The promise that God will always love and forgive you? The stations of the cross.